Hello and welcome to this brief demonstration of Create software. Once we've loaded in your corporate identity and the software is installed, when a user opens PowerPoint, their default presentation will appear. In the case of this document, we have a cover page, we've got a body text slide and a context slide, but we can add as many or as few pages as required, things like disclaimer pages or key slides about a company. If I want to start working with this presentation, I can click, just like normal PowerPoint, into the headers and footers and type into the title and subtitles, and I'll put in a presentation title and a subtitle. For anything else about the presentation, I'm going to go to my document setup dialog, and this helps manage the headers and footers and masters of my presentation without me really needing to know much about them. I can choose an endorsement. We can capture key endorsements that you might require. It's automatically put in presentation title and subtitle in the boxes. I can also change this right here and it will affect the cover page. I can go and select a date. I can add a secondary logo. So if I go and browse to my documents, go and find a secondary logo, and if I check include on every slide, that's going to size and position that logo on the cover and on the body text slides. We can also add things like we can repeat the presentation title in the body of the document, or we can add things like group names or department names. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm research and development for this presentation. These two boxes here mean that whenever I insert a section divider or appendix divider, they're going to come in automatically numbered, which I can then generate an automatic agenda from, and I'll come back to that. So I'll say OK, and those changes will be affected in that presentation. You can see the subtitles changed, the date, the endorsement. It's added that secondary logo, sized and positioned correctly on every slide. If I want to change that logo or remove it from the cover or the body slide, I can click OK. It's removed from the body text slides. And if I want to remove or change it from the cover slide, I can just swipe and delete it, or click my browse button to select a new one. When I want to start inserting slides, I'm going to use the Create Slide Layout menu. When you click on this one, it shows you a description on the left and gives you a preview on the right of every particular layout that we've created for you. Each one is customized, and we usually customize at least 80 to 100 layouts, all different varieties, and everything is perfectly positioned for you. You can swipe and select to insert multiple slides, so I'll apply to insert those slides, or you can click, if I type the number 4, I'll get a 4-up layout, and if I click OK, that will insert the selected layout and close the dialog. Every time a layout's inserted, everything is absolutely perfectly positioned and sized and formatted for me, so all I need to do is start populating it. Another way to get slide layouts is through the Click Slide menu. And quick slides, you've got the choice of 1 up, 2 up and 4 up, and we can configure these to your requirements. So I'm going to start populating this page now. I'm going to start putting some table data into my presentation. So I'm going to click into the placeholder, and I'm going up to the Create menu. I'm going to choose Insert Tables, and I'm going to do 4 rows by 4 columns and click OK. That puts a table in my corporate identity all ready to go. I'll just, for comparison purposes, show you what happens if I use a native PowerPoint table, just so you can see the difference, and you can see the table format, really nothing at all like my corporate identity. It's rather a big font, and I don't like the shading that's being applied here. If I can also get table data from Excel as a linked object. So I'm going to put my cursor in the placeholder here. That's where the software knows where to send it and how big to size it. I'm going to go into Excel. I'm going to select the data I want to insert, and a couple of ways I can do that. I can choose the option Send Table to PowerPoint fully formatted. This presents me with a dialog to ask me what kind of format I want. I get lots of different formats available to me, all customized to my identity, and I'm going to click OK to numeric with the totals row. The table's inserted, It's formatted, and I'll just zoom up a little bit. It's linked back to Excel, and I'll come back to updating that in a second, and it's pretty much ready to go. If I wanted to format a table, I could send it as a picture. So I'll show you that option. So let's say I've got a rather large table that I want to format in Excel. So I select the table, I choose the same option, format table, that I saw in PowerPoint, and I'm going to go with numeric with a solid heading row, and click OK. So you can see there's sort of different formats there. So I'm going to stretch those rows out, make sure I'm happy with the size and position. When I'm happy with the formatting, I'm going to select that table and choose the option Send Table to PowerPoint as a picture. That will paste in the picture automatically, size to fit, and that's also linking back and is updatable. I'm now going to go to create a couple of charts. So I've got my cursor in the placeholder here on the left, and I'm going to go and create a column chart. So when creating standard charts, you're going to use the native insert chart menu to select the chart type you want to create, and our software will be programmed to format all of these chart types automatically. I've also got these added to my quick access toolbars here, so that's what I'm going to use today. I'm going to choose to go for a 2D column. So I've created the chart, and now I want to send it to PowerPoint, format it and link it back to Excel. So I click on the chart and I choose the option Send Chart to PowerPoint, fully formatted. I've got a couple of different color schemes I can choose. I'm going to go for print book first of all. So it's formatted it, pasted it, sized it and linked it back to Excel. I'm going to put my cursor on the placeholder on the right and do another chart. I'm going to do a line chart this time. So I'm going to select the data through my quick access toolbar, choose the line chart I want. I'm going to go for a scatter line, and clicking on create, send the chart to PowerPoint. Again, I'm going to choose fully formatted as a print book. Now the nice thing is that once I've inserted the charts using this method, I don't need to worry about my corporate identity guidelines. I don't need to look at my style guide. Everything's built in for me, and all the charts come in sized 100% to fit. Everything lines up, so the bottoms of the axes, the top of the axes, the order of the colors, up to 32 colors if required in a hierarchy, and all the formatting is done for me. If I want to update that data now, so I've put in a couple of charts and tables, I'm going to go and update this data. So I'll start changing it here. My column chart, I'm going to say, and I'm also going to change the screen segment. I want that to be my corporate red. So I'm going to click on my color palette, and here's all my corporate colors, and I'm going to choose the cool red, and I'm going to close that. I would normally need to know the RGB values to do that. Here's the table I inserted earlier. I'm going to copy that cell number 10, and that's going to affect a change. And also I made the full width table. What I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to just do some X's, so that's going to be a pretty clear and easy way to see that update. So I've made lots of changes in Excel. I'm going to hit save to save those changes. Back in PowerPoint, I'm going to update all of those changes at once, choosing the option in the linking group called update, and I'm going to choose charts and tables. You get asked, are you sure you want to update all your charts and tables? Obviously, when a presentation gets to 50 or 60 pages, you may want to individually update items, and I'll show you how to do that. So that's running through, and it'll link and update and repaste images and repaste table data, and I won't need to touch my presentation. That's finished now for me, and you can see the charts have updated. I haven't need to do anything other than use that function. No need to start resizing. In the case of the tables, in the case of the tables, I'm just going to zoom up a little bit. You can see the numbers have been updated. Again, I haven't had to reformat that table. And then the table is a picture on the right. You can see there's that change affected there in my presentation. So updating is nice and easy. Every time I send the chart or table or table as picture from Excel into PowerPoint, Create Software records the data link. So here's my link for all the charts and tables. I can see the range, I can see the file name, the source of the data, what kind of image it is. I've got table, table image, and charts, and the slide number it's on. And with each of these, I can right mouse click on these and choose view source, change source file, change source range, update the object from the source, and disconnect the source. And I can do this on a singular or multiple level. If I wanted to insert something like an organization chart or a process flow, I'm going to click on My Library slides, and again I'm presented with a dialog with a preview on the right and a description on the left. This is divided up into tabs, and really when you get the software you're going to just scroll through your library and get familiar with all the assets that we've created for you, over 100 different slides. So I'm going to click apply to insert the first of each of those shapes, and what you'll see is as soon as I've started inserting those, everything immediately looks like it belongs to my presentation. I'll say OK to this one, and that will close the dialog and insert that selected shape. So everything already comes in looking perfectly formatted in my identity. So now I just have to start adding the data to my presentation. If I want to do something like change the color of an option, I've got a couple of things I can do. I'm going to ungroup that shape, and I'm going to select one of the boxes, and I'm going to choose this option here from Create, Select by Color, and it's going to pick up all the grays all at once, and then I can choose my color palette tool and change them with one click to any of my corporate colors. If I change it to a lighter fill, the font and the border will change automatically, so everything is configured and set up correctly. People don't need to worry about what color font for what background. I've also got the option to select by line style, so if I select by line style and change the lines to red, you can see I've done that all at once. And I can also do select by shape, so I can pick up all those shapes all at once and change them in one hit. So nice and easy one-click formatting. When I'm finished with the format tool, I can choose the little red square to close it. But before I do that, I'm going to show you maps. We have a special map palette because generally the rules for formatting maps are going to be slightly different. So I'm going to click on the option here, Map, to see my map palette, and I don't need to ungroup the shapes to do any actual formatting. I can literally just pick and click. If I've made a color change and I want to turn it back, I just hover over any of the color names to find out what they are, and I can see my map fill default was cool gray, and I've switched it back now. So all of the shapes and the things in the library are fully editable PowerPoint shapes. So everything is an editable PowerPoint shape. If I wanted to start inserting a section divider in my presentation, I would click on the slide I want the first section to appear and choose divider and choose the type of divider I want. First of all, I'm going to insert a section divider, and I type the title into the dialog and click OK or hit enter. Now because I added, because in the box I checked these two numbers, section and appendix dividers, you can see this is coming in automatically numbered. So I'm going to add another divider, type the title, and that's numbered automatically too. I can also add things like appendix dividers, and these are going to be numbered, however my tab ordering is. It might be ABC, it might be Roman numerals. We'll configure and set that up for you. So I'm going to add an appendix called Charts and Tables. Oops. Click OK, and that's numbering that ABC. Now I've got a couple of section dividers in my document, I can actually run an automatic agenda. So I'm going to click on my agenda tool, and it first of all defaults to agenda from divider slides. I'll say OK to that, and that populates me an automatic agenda picking up the section number, the title of the section, and the slide number it appears on. I can change the agenda any time to include more information. So for instance, I might want to say include appendices. So I check the box, and now I've got a different kind of agenda which is picking up my appendices. Let's say I have a series of company profiles, so I could insert a section divider and type in the company profiles heading And in the slide itself that appears, I'm going to put my company profile names. So I've got company name A here. I'm going to duplicate this slide and make the second one B. And now I'm going to go back to my agenda and I'm going to say include appendices and include subsections. It'll delete the old one, put in a new one, and now it's picking up automatically the subsections of my presentation. This type of agenda runs on to as many slides as I need, but if it runs over on just 1 or 2 points onto the following slide, I can actually change the format of the agenda into a 2-column layout by checking a couple of boxes, and now this type of agenda you can see is completely differently set up, and I can obviously fit a lot more items onto that slide. There's several other different agenda types, but I won't run through them all now. But there's lots of items. You can have an agenda from slide titles. You can also have a repeating agenda where it highlights the active point and repeats the whole agenda. If I wanted to add a timeline with a calendar, I could click on the calendar tool and select the day, month and the year, and that will populate an automatic calendar in my presentation. And this is, if I zoom up a little bit, this is just a series of tables, and I can either use the color palette to color in the cells, or I can use my table formatting tool to do that. If I wanted to format several rows at once, I could go format selected cells and choose fill in font color. I'm going to go for cool red, and it populates that for me. If I wanted to insert a subtitle or a source, I get that from this auto text drop down. So all the text shapes, and you can see that's popped it in there, all the text shapes that I need to add to my page are going to come in all sized and formatted correctly for me. If I want something like a message box, I've got some options here. I'm going to choose full width message box. It pops it in sized and formats, and I just literally start typing my message into the page. Let's look at changing a layout. The only layout the only item that this isn't going to work on is the table that I inserted earlier, which had the native PowerPoint table. So I'm going to remove that because that's not going to work with our software. So I'm going to change this layout. Let's say I now want to change this to a 4-up layout with a call out. So I click on change layout and I type C for call out, and I'm going to choose 4-up. So there's all my call outs. I'm going to choose 4-up. And so that's now picked up that layout and resized everything to fit into the new document. I can see that manufacturing's wrapped there, so all I have to do to fix that is just pull that out, and then I won't need to do that again. If I want to, I can stretch the tables up. They come in automatically stretched to fit the new layouts, but I may not want that. I may want to just pull them back up, and I just pull them up as much as I want them to go, and that's fine. If things, once I do the change layout, that aren't quite in the right place, I can click on any 2 shapes and choose my swap shapes option, and that will swap any 2 shapes around on my page. So it's kind of handy there. Let's say I want to format my table in PowerPoint. So I've got this table I created earlier. It's got numeric format with a totals row. So the totals row is blue and bold, and it's got slightly thicker line above and below. I'm going to click on the format table whole table menu, and here's all the different whole table formats I can change it to. So I've got lots of different ones here. So let's say I wanted to have the first column heading solid with bullets, and there we go, one-click formatting to apply that. And it's an unusual format, and you can't do that automatically using the native PowerPoint. I can also format the table to again anything at all, numeric, no borders. We've got lots of different formats, and again these are all customized to you. If I want to format a row or a series of cells, I click on the row and choose format selected rows, and I'm going to choose the option fill in font color, and I'm going to go for cool navy and click OK. So that formats the fill, the font, and any table borders as well. Likewise, if I want to format some selected cells, I choose the cells and choose format selected cells, and I'm going to go for format cool red and click OK. Okay, so that's table formatting. We've got some linking functionality. In Update, I can just update the agenda. So for instance, I've got this agenda set here on my 2-column layout. So this presentation will remember that. So if I move slides around and reposition slides, I'm going to put Executive Summary back at the top. And I can then simply hit Update Agenda, and that will refresh not only the agenda but also the numbering on any of the divider slides. It's pretty clever. So always your agenda is absolutely saying the right section numbers and the right slide numbers. I can update the entire presentation, so Update All updates the agenda and all the charts and tables, and of course I showed you the option already, Update Just Charts and Tables. So that's the key things about PowerPoint. There's a lot more in the software, obviously. A built-in help menu with really intuitive and user-friendly help guides, lots of screenshots. But let me show you just a little bit of some of the features in Excel. So in Excel, as I pointed out earlier, all of the items in the charting wizard in Excel we can create and format rules for, and these will all be done automatically. So let me now show you what we do with the pie. So I'm going to create my pie, and I'm actually not going to send it to PowerPoint. I'm just going to leave it in Excel, and I've got a couple of options to format that in Excel. I can either choose the option format it for PowerPoint, and here's the two color schemes. I've got print book and I've got tints, two slightly different formats, as you can see. So I'm going to go for print book. The difference between format for PowerPoint and format for Excel is that Excel contains a white background and you no longer see the grid lines, whereas for PowerPoint we make the charts transparent if that's appropriate. So I don't need to send the chart anywhere to format it on the worksheet. If I want to change anything about the series data points or series fills, I can click on, let's say I want rest of the world to always be grey. I could click on color palette and make that grey by just literally clicking the color. This is a scatterline chart, and normally once it's formatted, Excel does a funny thing. It starts scatter lines with some kind of random start and finish date, but I want that to start and finish with the actual data in the chart. So there's a couple of things I can do. The first thing I'm going to do is format it for Excel to get the color schemes and the look and feel for my corporate colors. It's done a little bit better with the dates at the bottom, but we've got a little tool to sort that out. So if I choose set axis labels, and let's say I want 5 labels along the bottom, it not only distributes and sets the labels, but it also starts the chart at the beginning and end of that data. I'm going to show you a couple of custom charts. Here's some data for a bubble chart. So I can, in the custom chart wizard, so we create all of these ones automatically, but in the custom chart wizard we have a series of more difficult charts that perhaps Excel doesn't really help users to create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select some data, choose my chart type. I'm going to go for bubble and hit next. And for the first series, all I need to do is select. You can see I just need to select the series 1 name, and I'm going to click add another series and go and get the labels for each of the new series. Unfortunately, this window is going off the screen, so I'm going to have to keep pulling it back. Go there, and the last one I'm going to select is European and click finish. So there's my bubble, all with my labels all ready to go, and I can send that to PowerPoint. If I go and put my cursor into a placeholder somewhere, let's say I want it here, I can send that to PowerPoint either resized only or as is. So I'm going to choose the resized only option. So that's now formatted and linked into my presentation. I'll show you another chart type just very briefly, the price volume chart. So I'm going to select the data, choose the price volume from the custom chart wizard, and if we've set up your customizations correctly, you should just be able to hit next and finish, and there it is. And that's literally turned a chart that normally would take a user approximately 150 mouse clicks in about 40 minutes. If they know how to create it, it's done it for a user in just a second. And again, you can send that chart. I'm going to send it to my placeholder there, resized only. That's just a very brief look at some of the functionality available in Create. And if you'd like any further demos, please get in contact. We're happy to do more and show you more functionality and features, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.